Okay.
And we're already live, although we still have 1 minute and a half before we start. So it's really a delight to be with you. So three very different time zones.
Yes,
because today we cover the whole globe. Japan, me in London, Gustavo in Colombia. So it's really, as far, it's not as far, but there can always be something further. But it's exciting. It's exciting.
It is.
It's very early for Gustavo, I would say.
yeah. But this is a global session.
Exactly.
Right.
UMAC is global.
Everyone in a different continent and a different
Absolutely.
hour.
And it's better than jet lag.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. So I would say we give it a go. So hello, welcome to the presentation of the third finalist of the UMAC Award 2022. My name is Marta, Lourenco, and I am the chair of UMAC, the International Committee for University Museums and Collections of the International Council of Museums. And today I have two fantastic friends for this presentation. And I would like to introduce first Akiko Fukuno, who is the chair of the UMAC Award Committee. So she has all the power, she knows everything. Right, Akiko from Japan, the floor is yours. Let's move on.
Thank you, Marta. Right now it's 10 o'clock in the evening in Tokyo. So good evening, of course, good morning, and good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us for this wonderful session of the third in the series of the presentation by UMAC Award finalists this year. And today we have Gustavo from Bogotá, the Museum of Contemporary Art of Bogotá, Museo de Arte Contemporáneo de Bogotá. So the floor is yours, and I'd like to hear your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Akiko. Thank you, Marta. It's a pleasure. And for us, it's an honor to be a part of these three finalists of the UMAC Award. Our work is totally involved from more than 20 years in this project, because we are a university museum, and we think that this special project have more link for the universities, especially the art faculties and visual faculties and academies of art in Colombia, because it's the big changes in this 20 years. So this is the recently version is I told you that last Saturday we opening the 19th version of this project. I start with the presentation, Akiko?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Please.
Well, okay. We are a museum of the University UNIMINUTO, and let me talk about some backgrounds of our university. We are a community museum. We start as community museum because in the middle of 20th century, one priest start a neighborhood in the northeast of Bogotá called El Minuto de Dios, because it's the same name of the TV program, the program of the oldest program in the TV of Colombia. And this is the same name, Minuto de Dios. It's 1 minute for God, and is more involved in the social development in our country. And the museum started in 1966, in the middle of the Minuto de Dios neighborhood. As you see in the center of this old photograph is the museum. Museum is the center of the square, in the principal square, in the main square of the neighborhood, near the church and near of the and then more than 25 years the university starts beginning the school and home technical studies, and then the university start. Precisely this year the university celebrate 30 years of work, and our50 and 55 years old. This neighborhood is designed for the working class in the peripheral of Bogotá. As told you, we are University Museum too. The museum belongs to the university since 1998, and we have collections of more than 1,700 works from contemporary art from Colombia, Latin America, Europe, and recently some work of Asia. Recently, in 2020, we received the International Accredited in High Quality from Museums by the American Alliance and Museum for 10 years. And we are also inclusive museum. Since 2012, UNIMINUTO is open to the students with disabilities. Inclusion is a museum policy. The museum and the exhibitions have contents in Braille and Colombian Sign Language. Our main focus is on education. Our slogan is education within everyone's reach. More than 30,000 university students have benefited from the educational programs. We made alliances with collaborations with other national and international university and private museums, such as UNAM in Mexico and other universities in Ecuador and in Argentina too. For us, the creativity is a main goal, because we understand the value of creativity at these difficult times. And we try to stimulate the different types of creativity as mimetic, analogical, dissociative, narrative, and intuitive. We understand the innovation, the real innovation involve functional, technical, and social and institutional changes. This project is a challenge every year for us. As a University Museum, we are committed to strengthening research creation. We value the research creation as methodology to expand the universe of knowledge from the sensitive, relational, and political. And the big question, how do we do it? As you see, every works that I showed in the slide are theses in the past time and the present times. And I don't have the credits of everyone, but I try to understand that this is works for the different years of project thesis. Every year we call the universities. Each university can nominate 6 best theses of the last year. All nominees must be graduates, receive between 50 and 18 nominations from the academic advisor. We are close contact with the academic advisor or the dean of the faculty in each university in Colombia. Then we contact the nominees, and each nominee must submit their thesis in PDF, photograph of their work, and abstract for the thesis. Our curatorial committee evaluates the proposal and selects the works for the exhibition. For us, the excellence is the main goal. The thesis project focuses on the best research creation works that are produced each year in the Colombian universities. The works come from the different regions of Colombia, even from the most remotest areas that don't have a museum. For most of them, new artists, it's the first time to stay in museum. In this case, is the north of Colombia don't have museum. This is proposal to stay in museum. MAC highlights the process of the teaching, research creation, and expand the scope. Innovation, as I mentioned, this is the first professional job for recent graduates. We believe in and support your career. As general rule, our museum in Colombia don't invite recent graduates to exhibit in his space. It's the same. Other museums try to involve students and work of the museum, but normally it's not to exhibit his works in museums. The continuity of this project has given credibility and strengthened ties with universities. Since 2020, the thesis project is also digital in partnership with Google Arts and Culture. We made an agreement with Google 8 years ago, but when the pandemic comes, we made a special new deal to show thesis at this platform. And for us and for the students, it's a big opportunity. But it is not only in our museum, but it is global audience, and is total transform in the mission of the scope of project thesis. Speaking as transferability, this project is flexible and open project. We call this is an open source project and easily replicable by any university museum. We can provide conceptual and logistical support to museums that want to implement it in their country. In this case, we made conversations with the Quilmes Museum in Argentina and Guadalajara Museum of Guadalajara, University Museum of Guadalajara, because they are interested in this type of museum to show the thesis of his students, or her students who recent graduates in their countries. Impact, I think that the impact is the most important thing, because we have 19 versions, 20 catalogs, about 1,000 degrees works exhibited. Is the first professional exhibition in a museum, and we follow up the artistic career of the graduates, and we made international exchanges. This image is the recently that I mentioned the last Saturday. We opened the last version of thesis, and we include this image of one of the recently graduates. Other part of impact is the new donations and acquisitions for our collections. And the most important is the thesis bank. More than 8,800 theses in PDF. This is the most important archive of Colombian contemporary art in the 21st century. And let me talk about beneficiaries. The thesis project marks the professional career of visual artists in Colombia. Many of them have been beneficiaries of grants of creation for creation, international exchange, and acquisitions for our permanent collection. I choose 4 of these beneficiaries from different years of this project. The first one is Mateo Lopez. Actually, Mateo was winner of the Cuenca Biennial in 2007 because our museum was chosen as curator of the Biennial of Cuenca by represent Colombia, and his work was the winner of this Biennial, and actually is one of the most important emerging artists in Colombia. He is the participant in the first thesis project in 2004. Daniel Guana has recently in 2019 residency in Jeju Island between Japan and Korea. Is a little island, and in the mayor of Bogotá made a special convention of different mayors of around the world, and some delegation of the Jeju Foundation comes for our museum, and we made an agreement to interchange, and one artist from Korea comes to our university, and Daniel comes to Jeju Foundation and stay three months and Jeju. It's very important for the life and change totally his life, this type of interchange with Korean capacity culture, and we start to our collection with Korean artists because we have actually some works of Korean artists. And the other case is Sonia Rojas made a special residence in France, in Annecy. Annecy is near Switzerland. It's a little and charm village in France, and she is more dedicated to photograph and videograph, and in this part in this village have a special festival, and so 2 artists from France come to Colombia and to university, stay 2 months in our university and exhibit in our museum, and Sonia stay 2 months in France and exhibit there. And finally, Teresa Correa is made a residence in Tokyo and interchange with some foundation in Tokyo. As you see, Akiko, he wears a special wear of Japan, and he made a very beautiful and very charming drawings, and made scenarios, totally drawing. Is one of the most charm artists actually in Colombia, and his vision about the mixed the old culture, the new culture, and interchange this kind of scenarios is totally surprise. This is more close to the museum. Most of them were included as juries, selected the new works. We not only is exhibit artists, we think that this artist as a part of our team in sometimes to select the new exhibits in THESIS. Of course, our university is a beneficiary for this project because our university, UNIMINUTO, has seen this project grow, and academic, cultural, exchange relation with the Colombian and international university have increased. For our university, made this project is a compromise, is a start to new relations. It's a very important point to make the relation through the art or the science and research, and the research is very important for our university. And this time, I think that the most beneficiary is the artists and the university too. It's the link between the new graduates and the universities, and all the universities in Colombia too. Recently, and the past Saturday, some of the academic advisors speak to me and said that is the most important project for our graduates, because it's not only to make the thesis for graduate, and this is a step forward to his career. And finally is our team. I am as director. Sebastian Jimenez is the curator and manage the collections. Tatiana, that stay with us in Praga too, because he received from the SECA committee, and Andrea is the front desk of university of the museum. That is the project, and for this 19 years, we work with the students, with the university, and I like to thank UMAC to choose our project and this UMAC Award. We are very honored for being part of this.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much, Gustavo. Very good. So let me see if we have any questions from our listeners and watchers on YouTube. At the moment, no.
Okay.
So Akiko, do you have any questions? If not, I have, of course. I always have.
Yes, I was going to ask how long Gustavo has been involved with this 19-year project.
Yes, Akiko, I was the director from 22 years at the Museum of Contemporary Art, and we started this project in 2004 because some recent graduates comes to the to our museum to ask to show your recent work, and our museum are close focus with the young artists, and we see the opportunity to show more than one thesis or one graduates, and for this reason we try to expand and contact begins to contact the universities.
Yes.
Wow.
And over those 19-20 years,
Yes,
there should be like a trend that you see or a tendency in the types of artworks.
yes, of course, Kiko.
Yes.
As you know, our Colombia is a beautiful but conflictive country, and the recently story of our country is too hard, and of course the young people see the political and social problems in his works, and all these works reflects the difficulties in our country, our challenges too, especially the problems with the violence, the fight for the territory, the fight for the opportunities for, especially for the young people that don't have opportunities to job, opportunities to be part of the society. As you know, the last year made a estallido social, and especially the young people are the protagonists of this estallido. And of course, every year we made 4 main themes. One of themes is the body, because the body is the scenario of the all violence. The second theme is territory, because the people fight for the territory, for food, especially in the countryside. And the third theme are the gender, because it's another fight to respect the different gender. And the other is to the social changes or involve the different political and political compromise and political changes. And finally, when we made a peace agreement, we saw a little light of hope, but the last government closed some of this project. This is difficult, and the thesis reflect this type of reflections, approach about our reality. And we think that the contemporary art is more close to reality, especially in our country.
Okay. You see how young people see the country, the society, the political, problems, and they're all reflected in their thesis.
Yes, of course, and we see the both sides, the hope of the young people, but the critical analysis of our reality, because the new generation is not as our generation, because our generation we fight in the 70s and the 80s for a change in our countries, but actually we are in the global community. We are more close for the technology and use technology, and some of young people are marginalized from the technology or the other opportunities, job opportunities, educational opportunities. Our university, UNIMINUTO, is a university that brings low-cost careers, and it is the innovative proposal for our country, because Colombia, the middle class, on the low class, on the working class, don't have the opportunity to access to the university or the careers. And in these 30 years of the UNIMINUTO University is a total change, because we are not only university of the one city, Bogotá, we have universities or faculties around all Colombia. And we made the change because I say is the opportunity to the younger people on the special working class and middle class in Colombia to obtain high quality education.
Great. So young people from all over Colombia get this visibility, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe Marta is dying to ask questions.
I'm dying. No, I have a couple of questions, because I find the project thesis so interesting. And although, of course, locally, it has a local dimension, it can be reproduced even with different objects in many universities around the world and university museums. So there's this character that actually the UMAC Award respects, and the values of transferability. So you can always be a showcase for the works done by students. You can and should. But I wanted to specifically ask, because the project is national, right? In a way, it's national, because universities from all over the country, all over Colombia, get themselves represented in the project thesis. So how does this change the way your museum, the nature of your museum? Because you mentioned it's a community museum, and then you will have contemporary art from all over Colombia, young artists from all over Colombia. How does the community, which you said was working class, how does it see? How does the community see? Do people get engaged? Because uh, some of it is activist art, you kind of suggested. It's resistant art. So how is this tension between the national and the community level of your museum?
Good question, Marta, because uh, I always surprise how the community wait for the each year thesis project, because this project is not only inside the museum. Some of them are outside of the museum, in middle of the neighborhood, especially performance or some installations in the middle of the neighborhood, and not only in the museum. As I told you that when we was in Tokyo, our project Barrio Museo, museum neighborhood, is some intervention directly in the houses of the neighborhood, and other action we made, because this project is not only for the people that know art. I think that the contemporary art is more close to the people, and it's not only the exhibition. We made a educational program that involved students and neighborhood too, person of the third age, young people, working class, and we made a special program with the homeless in Colombia, in Bogotá, and I am totally surprised how the homeless, when it comes to the museum, increase his dignity, because homeless always were outside of these institutions.
Not
And
allowed.
how,
Not
yeah,
allowed. They're not allowed
yes,
to enter.
it's totally blow my mind. And I think that this project is disseminate the culture. The culture is not only inside the museum, it's everywhere. And as you see in the photograph, the museum is in the center, but we think that the museum is all the neighborhood, and we try to spend more the city. As you mentioned, we are recently include some other universities. The Paris College of Art participate for 3 times in our project, and next year we invite the Quilmes University graduates from the Argentina, and the past year we begins to conversation with some universities on Ecuador, and as mentioned, some universities in Mexico, Guadalajara University, that is very close. We made some exhibition of our collection in Guadalajara University, and we plan to make close for these other universities. And as I mentioned, this is an open source project. I think that every university that like to make not the same or some of the ideas that we share in this presentation, we are ready to help, to advise, to stay, to accompany, to development his idea, because this experience is not only for our museum. I think that this is
you're right. But at the same time, must be an incredible logistics, right? Look, at some point of the year, you have artworks coming from all over, right? Or do you see, how does it work? do you select them first? Do the students apply? Is there kind of and who funds? Because there are transports involved. How
Yes,
does it work in practice?
yes. In practice, when the graduates are selected, we from the outside of Bogotá, we wrote to the university that it's possible to finance the transport.
Yeah.
In other case, the graduate send his work or comes directly. That this is a good experience too. That they don't tell about this. Some of them comes from the different regions of Colombia. Some of them financial by the university, or some of them financial by the parents, and stay two or 3 days in Bogota, because this exhibit was mounted directly by the artists. This is a very important thing that they forget, because some of the contemporary art is difficult to mount, and directly the artists, and stay in contact with the other artists and make good relations. Some of teams are related, especially with we speak about social problems. We are speaking about the problems in regions, and made a good friendship, and some of them are merged in the next project and the future. Is we are surprised with this relation that made inside the museum. And the other thing is the parents. The parents is more important, because some mothers and fathers comes and helps his son or daughter, because some of them are difficult, and the parents
family
is more involved in this project.
Yeah, they all help. And they all help. Right.
Family work.
Amazing. Yeah, you should do a making of, you should do a making of, like a video of everything happening. But the last question is about the importance for research, as you said, and rightly so, because 19 years of systematic compilation of works by young contemporary artists is an incredible resource. And my question is, how do you promote that resource for research? Of course, you have everything online, open source, the PDFs are there. You can also, I imagine, access the archives of the museum and past exhibitions, past project theses. But how do you really, you're sitting on such an important jewel for research. How do you make it more known? How do you make it better known?
You even have a bank, right?
Yes, we have a bank, and we have, as mentioned, we every year we publish a catalog of all the participants, and this catalog is online and physical. And online is totally free. Everyone can access from issue.com UMAC-ICOM, and you can research or you can see all these catalogs directly. And we plans this year or the next year systematize the THESIS bank, because we are physically, but we plans to make digitally, in order that the people can access by words, by team, to this value bank of THESIS bank. I think that this is a good tool to the researchers and artists and people that like to know how is the recently contemporary art in Colombia.
So it's like a database?
We plan to make that database the next year, because actually it's only physical, the PDF on CD on some, but we plans to systematize of all these theses and make access to public access.
Fantastic. Yes,
This
because
is the project from the 20 anniversary of THESIS next year.
wow.
We think on the future.
Yeah. Next year, 20th anniversary. Very good.
Yes.
Well, I think, let me see, we have Margarita Guzman, the director of the Museo de la Universidad del Rosario. She's just joined us on YouTube, but she doesn't have any question. Margarita, you don't have any question for us. I'm sure, you know, because she knows everything. She's been
We
there
are
and so
partners.
on. Your partners. But anyway, so look, it's been wonderful. I don't know, Akiko. I think it's about time we close
Yes,
this
it's the best.
session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
And we
very
wish
much.
you all the best for the UMAC Award, you know, final presentation, which will be Sunday, 18 September. I forgot the time, but it's in our
It's noon,
website. And
Lisbon time.
noon what? Noon of what? Of what?
Lisbon.
Noon of
Lisbon.
Lisbon. Okay.
Yes.
Noon of Lisbon, London, Dublin. And so that will be the time. I hope you join us. You absolutely must join us.
Yes, of course.
And it's going to be exciting because we have 3 fabulous finalists this year. And I wish you the best, Gustavo. And
Thank you,
I look
Marta.
forward to seeing you one of these days, whether in Colombia or in, I don't know,
Tokyo.
Australia next year.
Maybe
Next year,
Australia. I like to go to Australia. This is the continent that I never stay there.
yeah. So yeah, that's a good opportunity to go to Australia, everyone, because we're meeting in Sydney and Melbourne probably next year. So thank you, Akiko. Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you very
And
much.
see you.
Akiko, thank you a lot. A warm hug from Colombia, or our people, our recently graduates, and all the team of Museum of Contemporary Art, all the team of the university that support this project for this 20 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for all